We are taking a look at Pure Fiction for version 4.2. This one is called Illusory Concepts. We're going to talk about the buffs, the bosses, some teams, and do a little demo. So let's get into it. We'll start with the grid effect. At the top left here, this stage has a special Elation skill. When entering Aha Instant, you deal 15 instances of imaginary Elation damage, and when an enemy target is defeated, you get one punchline. So everybody gets to be Elation team in this one. We've had similar buffs in the past before. So it's pretty similar to the skill you would get if you were playing no Elation characters anyway. It's just that you're going to have more reliable means of obtaining punchline in this one, as we'll see in the selectable buffs as well. So to go with this, the grit mechanics, each time punchline is gained, allies will additionally accumulate 2 grit value. So every punchline is going to get 2 grit. That means you're going to be getting grit pretty quick if you're playing Elation. But like I said, the other teams will also have ways of getting punchline as well. So it'll be a pretty reliable way to get grit. Obviously, this buff is favoring Elation, but any team's going to benefit from this. It's just going to be a nice little extra bit of damage here and there from the Elation skill. As for Surging Grit, upon entering Surging Grit, you just get a straight up extra Aha instant with a fixed amount of 20 punchline. So this is identical to Yao Guang's ult. And it doesn't consume the punchline, of course. And in this particular instant, you will get Elation skill damage buff of 50%, which is pretty nice and chunky. And during the Surging Grit, enemy targets, of course, take increased damage by 50. And Aha's instant speed increases by 40. You are going to see a lot of Aha in this one, particularly when we look at the team buffs. You'll see they get an extra 20 speed, so that's a nice chunky speed buff where they're going to show up a lot, plus you get the extra instant from the Surging Grit effect. And if you're playing an Elation team, it's just going to be non-stop Aha instants, which is pretty wild. So obviously, again, this all favors Elation teams, but anybody will benefit from it. Okay, so let's take a look at the bosses. In Node 1, we have the Nikador boss. This is a simplified version of their fight, so there's really not too much to think about other than, just hit them as many times as possible to reduce their armor and keep that at bay. It shouldn't be too much trouble if you're using, AoE attacks like you normally would, and if you can use supports like Tribbie and like DHPT that have AoE attacks, even if they're not doing a ton of damage, that helps a lot in just keeping the armor at bay. But otherwise, not too much to worry about on that one. Same with the second node. Again, Pure Fiction bosses, I don't worry too much about the mechanics. With this one, it helps if you can bring a shielder. So the Memo Sprite has some abilities that will... it's like a dot effect that will do a little more damage if you're taking damage that's not shielded, and being shielded will also help reduce their toughness a little bit, which you're going to want to do because they do get a damage reduction, 20% damage reduction when they're not broken, so you want to break them as quickly as possible. Okay, so that one too, not too much to worry about mechanics wise. But if you can sneak a shielder in, which of course I'm not going to take my own advice, it does help you out a little bit. Okay, let's look at the team buffs. So we've got the first one is Euphoria. During Surging Grit, enemy targets take 30% more Elation damage, which means they're going to be up to 80% Elation damage, which is wild. And additionally increases Aha's speed by 20, so that's like 60 total extra speed. So pretty great. Obviously, this is for the Elation teams, so you're just going to get constant Aha instants. If you just got your Silver Wolf built, you're still playing Sparksy, or you're just about to get Evanescia, who's coming out like a day or two after I'm recording this, then this is the buff for you. As for the second one, Delirium, this is the buff for everyone else. After an ally target uses their basic or skill, gain 1 punchline. During Surging Grit, the ally target's damage dealt increases by 50%, so you just get a straight up 50% damage boost, and either your basic or your skill is all building punchline. And then for the grit mechanics, each enemy target hit with the basic or skill accumulates an extra 3 grit value. So That's pretty great if you're playing AoE, which you should. It's pure fiction, so if you're playing an AoE character that hits 5 enemies, then that's just straight up 15 crit value per attack, which is pretty great. And then you're generating the punchline. It's a little slow for the basic and skills, but it's something. You know, you're getting a little punchline to feed that free aha instant. So pick anybody that you want here. I've had success with, you know, some of the usual names like Casterus, the Herda, who, you know, is usually pretty good in pure fiction. I liked using Firefly, particularly in the second node, because you want to break that boss really quickly, and having a team that's good at breaking is kind of helpful, and especially if you've got, you know, if you happen to have E2 Firefly like me, it's very powerful even in pure fiction. But whoever you want to try, any of your top DPS, this is the one that you want to go with. And finally, for the third buff, Improvisation. During Surging Grit, dot taken by enemy targets increases by 50%. When an enemy target is defeated, allies gain 1 punchline for each dot effect they are afflicted with. And every time a dot is received, for the grit mechanics, every time a dot is received by an enemy target, additionally accumulates 1 grit value for allies. So you're getting punchline and grit just based on your dots that you're putting out there. I will say the punchline is not like how many dots are on the enemy, but how many dot effects. So, you know, that 50 stacks of Arcana from Black Swan is still just going to be like 1. But that said, I've accumulated insane amounts of punchline, more than I've ever seen before with this buff. It's pretty great. And to be fair, my dot team is E6, both Hyacines and Kafka are E6, so that is not going to be everybody's experience, but I was getting over 200 punchline with this buff. It's pretty fun, you know, but it's pretty straightforward. If you want to try dot, this is the one to use, and there's kind of only one good dot team, so if you're playing Hyacines, Kafka, this is the way to go. Okay. So let's talk about, I mentioned some team recommendations in there, who I am going to play today since I like to use E0 characters for this demo. I'm going with the Hot Boy Summer here with Ashveil and Mydei. So my Ashveil is E0 S1. I've got E1 S1 Robin, E1 S1 Sunday, and E0 S1 Dan Heng PT. I would normally like to have Tribbie on this team, but I'm saving Tribbie for the Mydei team. And Robin will get the job done. Remember, you can get her for free now, so she's very good. I think people kind of forget that because, you know, Tribbie and even Ruan Mei can be a little more universally better, but Robin's really good. Okay, and on the second team, we do have Mydei, who I have E0 S1. I've got E1 S0 Tribbie with Dance Dance Dance, of course. I've got E0 S1 Cyrene and E1 S1 Hyacine. And both of them I'm using that generic middle buff since they're neither Elation or Dot. Okay, so that's the breakdown. Well, let's get to the demo. Okay, so we've got the Ashveil team. James Nikador. We're running Robin. Now, Robin is good for Ashveil because all of her buffs are good, including her follow-up attack buff.
My strength isn't.
The problem is she does not attack, and my one weakness on this team is sometimes I can't get all of the Ashveil follow-up attacks out because Sunday doesn't attack either. So you're entirely reliant on Dan Heng as your like secondary means of activating the follow-up attacks.
To consume this.
But we'll be fine.
Slaughter each other. Arthur and
I could, in theory, play one of my favorite teams is playing Jade instead of Sunday. Do I want to use this now? Yes, I do.
Fight to the death.
Stars echo.
Team action advances.
Serenity is before me.
This mortal form
But yeah, I have E1 Jade, which is pretty amazing with Ashveil because it makes it so even his single target hits build 3 stacks for her. And you put that with Robin and her buffs, it's really nice. But I think I did that last Pure Fiction, so I wanted to do something a little bit different. Yeah, see, I've already got my ult now with Ashveil, and I'm like, tempted? Yeah, I should just do it.
I offer my blood to consume.
Building energy for the next one is more important than
each other.
follow up.
Fight to the death.
We want to chew through these guys anyway. Damn, he's so close to it.
It's of no consequence.
There we go.
Dragons soaring above the
Okay, and you can see we have the aha instant. The 26 is a decent, well, 27 even. A decent amount of punchline for a non-elation team. It's not going to do a ton of damage, but took a couple people out. And then that's the Surgeon Grit. Extra instant. Okay, where's the target?
Fight to the death.
dragons soaring above the lands. This
Yeah, you're almost dependent on Danny taking some hits so you can get his ult out fast enough to keep up with
I offer my
Ashveil's
blood.
follow-ups.
Slaughter each other. Fight to the death.
This kind of feels like overkill, but I hate those monostructural things. Slowing me down.
Eye for an eye.
Okay. And it is nice. I usually don't have any trouble keeping Robin at 100% uptime. You can see she pretty much has her ult close enough so that when she comes up, she can just basic and get it.
It's of no consequence.
Now, I tend to... Alright, let's get the ult up first before with Ashveil. I tend to target the
Stars echo.
boss with Ashveil
I offer my blood.
on the second part, because you can kind of
Fight to the death.
really do a lot of damage to them. And then the third wave boss kind of depends. In this case, as we'll see, I prefer to keep Ashveil's mark on the boss so that
Dragons.
he can keep chipping away at Mydei's armor. But in other instances, I might target the small guys to do damage that way
Serenity is before me.
and keep them close. Oh, that was a nice shot from Danny. Oh wow, he's going 42 punch. And that does count toward Nikador's armor. Every little bit counts. So you can see the counter, which is now going to say 4 out of 7 when we're done here. That's the super armor that Nikador has. And they get a 20% damage reduction so long as that armor's up. And it goes down every time you hit them.
This mortal watch over you and guide you on your path.
It gets a little more complicated in his, like, second phase thing.
Fight to the death.
But not in the pure fiction version. It doesn't really matter all that much.
I doubt farewell.
It's not like the Apocalyptic Shadow one, which had a lot going on.
Dragons soaring above the lands. This is permanent.
Eye for an eye.
Okay, nice. So the armor's broken just in time to get the ult off.
Slaughter each other. Fight to the death.
So much
Song
HP.
bring us victory.
Okay, I'm gonna skill this to guarantee that I get
Harmony and
her ult.
unity. Right.
I didn't trust the basic on that one. The basic might have done it, but I didn't trust it.
Eye for an eye. Fight to the death. Through you.
I've heard the call. Serenity is before me.
It is nice when you call up Ashveil and you've got the dragon ready, just to get that extra follow-up out. Okay, so we'll clear the 30,000.
Dragons soaring above the lands. This is permanent.
I also find with this fight the enemies feel a little chunky.
Guide you on your path.
Then maybe that's HP inflation.
Blood to consume. Beasts slaughter each other. Fight to the death.
It's of no consequence.
Okay, so in this phase, you see you've got the little numbers over our heads. If we use a skill, it will turn that number to 2, and every attack will actually take away 2 stacks from Nikidor's
Seeking you
armor.
shall receive. And doubt farewell.
Fight to the death.
Dragons
So we'll get
soaring
the
above the
armor
land.
break here.
This is permanent.
Arthur and I offer my blood. Beasts
Max power
slaughter
here,
each other.
Ashveil.
Fight to the death.
This mortal watch over you and guide you on your path.
I wish the Aha instant triggered Ashveil's follow-up attack, but I guess it makes sense.
May song bring us victory.
Okay, got ult already. Robin.
Light. Stars echo.
My strength isn't what it was.
Arthur and I.
Dragons soaring above the lands. This is permanent.
God says you're shady. Let's see through you.
Alright, I'm gonna
Serenity is before
call
me.
up Ashveil and basic to break. Oh no, the Aha instant will break their armor.
I offer
Nice.
my blood. Beasts slaughter each other. Fight to the death.
Okay. I don't know if we're gonna do any better than this.
Arthur and I.
Maybe I should have
My
taken
job
out
is
one
to
of
be
the. Let me
nosy.
take out one of the guys on the side to get some guaranteed points. There we go.
I'll endure. It's of no consequence.
Fight to the death.
Alright. 35,840s. Not bad for a hunt character at E0 in Pure Fiction.
That one is hard to persuade.
Now it's Mydei's
Let's
turn.
observe first. Turn over this eternal.
Submit or die.
The future is great. So leave it with us.
Okay, so we're just gonna
Smell the glue. Destroy the skies.
get Cyrene going first.
Stars.
Just make sure you always have a skill point for Cyrene. That means these early waves with the small enemies are going to go pretty slow, but it's fine. Once we ramp up,
Is it
we're
coming?
doing good.
I feel the west wind. Let me go.
Forever do.
Okay. Tribbie can get the skill point for Cyrene here. Like, your main decisions are going to be
Underestimating us will cost you.
when to skill with Hyacine
Together we can
and
do
when
any
to
flowers.
use Cyrene's
Bloom for
ult
tomorrow.
after the first ult.
Super.
So, like, if you're not familiar, Cyrene's effect on Mydei is
I'll accept your
she has him do an immediate big punch, the Godslayer, the Godslaying, or whatever the thing is called. So it's a renewable. It's one of the ones where you need to keep casting Cyrene's ult. Go ahead and hit Mydei. You're only making him stronger. At least we're getting all bugs before they explode and stung me.
Burn it all.
Okay, so we've got Cyrene now.
Memories waiting to be
So you
woken up
don't
by a
have to
shooting star.
use the ult on Hyacine unless you want to gain energy later. I'm going to start with Tribbie to buff her first.
Never have
Then I
farewell.
should have done the ults.
Don't blink.
So we're going to hit Mydei now,
Be crowned king.
and then we're going to follow up with everybody's ults.
Cleanse hatred with love.
Okay, nice. Cyrene was able to advance before Mydei goes, so that we'll get full damage there. Nice chunky 2.3 million on him.
I feel like
Dying soul, accept your...
Now, Mydei is pretty good on the Daybreak Squadron when it's imaginary weak, or strong, I should say. Because the Daybreak Squadron, their thing is, like, if you attack with their element, they'll just straight up counterattack you every time. But Mydei likes to get hit, so works out pretty good. Yeah.
Never lost. So may the wind
Joke's on you, I'm into that, Mydei just said.
It's coming. I feel like Let me go. May this dispel the gloom, destroy the skies.
So like I said, not a lot to do on this one until Cyrene's ult comes up. And even that, you don't really need to think too hard about it, because unlike, say, a Naxa, who's doing like an action advance, this is not an action advance with Mydei, technically.
That won't work, you know.
He won't lose his place on the turn order, right?
It's the answer. Guys, Ring, have some sunshine.
Okay, let's call him back up before the Surge of Grit ends.
Don't blink. May strike. Be crowned king.
It's ready too. Okay, I think this is gonna do it for this part.
Can't die. Conquer all land.
And never sleep on Hyacine's damage either. Can I get any more turns before the Surge of Grit ends? With, no, I can't. I wasn't fast enough. I probably would have, though. That was a good dance dance.
Your punishment.
Okay, so you can see how this boss has the, like, kind of white border around its life bar. That's because it's taking reduced damage, so it's like a 20% damage reduction in this one. So you have to break them. Oh wow, we got the 80 punch. Good. So you have to break them to get rid of that. Oh good, yes. Target Mydei. He loves it.
Don't blink. May strike. Be crowned king.
Conquer all land.
Okay, I can afford the skill.
Have some sunshine.
It's fine.
Look, we're flying.
Keep Hyacine's energy up.
I feel like Let me go. That won't work, you know.
Fury upon you.
Well, the 3 hits kind of help with the energy for Hyacine. if you are having trouble with Hyacine's energy, I kind of feel like
May strike, be crowned king.
that's a priority with, well, okay.
Cleanse hatred with love.
Mydei does benefit from Hyacine's ult, which raises your max HP, of course, so, you know, that does help him. For various reasons that I don't fully understand off the top of my head, I guess it's not as important for him, though, as, like, Casterus. So if you miss a half a turn with Hyacine's ult, it's not that big a deal.
The way that went. We like you.
Burn it all. Dying soul.
Okay, this will break him.
That's your punishment.
You can see the damage reduction goes away from the bar. Just looks like a normal life bar now.
Let's start the second.
Oh, nice. Get that extra Cyrene ult before the Surging Grit ends.
May strike, be crowned king.
So we get our Godslayer be Godslaying before the Surging Grit ends with that damage bonus. Okay. Tribbie does not need to skill yet.
Sunshine.
I see skill.
Dispel the gloom. Destroy the skies.
The single most important thing, of course, is never miss your Tribbie buff. So you make sure you have a skill point when her turn comes back around.
This is eternity.
Forever to conquer all land.
Oh yeah, go ahead and hit Mydei. He loves it. Yeah, so if the fight goes on long enough, you will get to that mechanic where you gotta pick someone and take a hit. And you can't pick the same person twice in the same match. But anyway, so. Okay, so 71,000, a very respectable score for two E0 characters here. You know, we're well over the 30,000 mark. We got 35, about the same score each, which is kind of neat. So, very doable with those teams. But of course, you can check out the recommended ones I mentioned as well. And that'll do it for this one. So hopefully that was helpful, or at least entertaining. If you like this kind of thing, like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And we'll catch you next time. Bye.